What's up, everyone? It's Gabby Trades, and welcome back to the channel. Well, CPI report is in. Markets reacted positively to it. Let's break it all down together. But before we dive in, don't forget to like, please, and subscribe if you haven't. Also, you can hit the bell so you always get notified before I go live, whatever. Hello, everyone. Now, for the new people here, we're just going to repeat what CPI is so everyone is on the same page. Well, basically, CPI stands for Consumer Price Index. It measures how much prices are rising for everyday things like food, rent, and gas. It tells us if inflation is heating up or cooling down. So that pretty much affects everything from interest rates, mortgage costs, to stocks and, of course, crypto prices as well. So the much anticipated CPI report just dropped, and the markets are breathing a sigh of relief this time. It was way different than what we expected and what was projected for. So we were all sort of like bracing for hotter numbers, but the data came in just slightly cooler than expected, and that was pretty much enough to spark a rally. Now, headline inflation held steady at 2.4, while core inflation, which stands for, it actually strips away food and energy, came out at 2.8, just under forecast. So it's not really a huge drop, but in this market, small win is still a win, in my opinion. So what happened immediately after that? Of course, we had the stocks jumping, bonds rallying, the dollar weakening, NASDAQ futures surged. So what does that mean for the Fed? Is obviously the question that we're going to ask. So basically, the softer inflation number gives them pretty much more space, and it doesn't really force them to pivot or to cut rates, right? It doesn't really force their hand. It's kind of like wait and see. It's really a green light for the markets, at least for now. So in simple terms, we had low expectations. So even slightly better news for us is good news. And markets absolutely love that. Of course, we have the usual extra tensions in the air, talks about the tariffs that could push the inflation higher. That's still around the corner. We also discussed yesterday about the rumors that Trump might be replacing Jeremy Powell, which is the Fed chairman, and that if that's elected, that would potentially mean big shifts in how the US handles interest rates and inflation policies just in general. Now, besides that, the T is that Besant is up for the spot. So let's see what happens with that. But to be honest, today I've been waiting for the reports. I've been looking at the markets a little bit, but not that crazy. So together we're going to come and assess what's happening. Let's see who's here first. We have Cryptolove, Tetsko, Zdravej, we have Refero, and Cello Crypto is here as well. Alex, Dodi, of course, and Mark Bass is always the first one here. You guys, oh, and Miro as well. You guys hit the like button and also say hi in the chat, especially once I move the screen, which I always do. You know how that goes. The chat clears away. So you guys start typing in the chat box, just making sure everything is okay around here, moving everything around. Hello, let's go. Yes, let's do it. All right, so here's the report. Very, cooler report. We did not expect that, so that's quite interesting. Let's see how the markets are reacting to that. Be strong. Yes, of course, we're going to be strong. This is what we do around here. All right, so pretty much everything has been working out by plan so far. Of course, we didn't expect a cooler report today, but that is also fine. Like we can trade the markets both ways. So for us, it's not really a problem. And overall, we're still holding that bullish bias. So right now, we're still in the consolidation. Of course, the data high and data lows are pretty clean. And as you can see, the market on a lower time frame is pretty much manipulating everyone right now. And it's not ideal, right? So anyone that came long before the CPI, in my opinion, is going to be taken out eventually. This is what happens. You have the data highs, you have the data lows. you tend to see price run through both of these ends. So what I tend to do when I get the CPI report is I tend to KJ Crypto High, I tend to wait for the market to settle before I get involved. Honestly, it's very important to have that mindset, especially when you have big news, because the market needs to settle down. And not only that, right? Even before market open, you want the market to settle down, right? Unless you're very, very experienced and you know how to deal with these markets. Now, all right. So first of all, we're gonna start with Bitcoin, of course. The report came in, we have this big candle up, and now we're pretty much consolidating within that candle, right? Within that candle, we want to ideally see the highs run and the lows run of that 15-minute candle that is responsible for the opening of the market, as well as the CPI data, right? Data highs, data lows. So that's the first thing we're looking out for. And then, of course, we want to identify structurally where are we located in the market. Well, there is like a sort of like a range that we're currently, which is this one over here, right? And we can see yesterday we had a short, of course, from the 0.786, take profit at the 0.5. So these are natural stuff that we do in our community. And if you haven't joined the community on Discord, honestly, you guys, go ahead and do it, because the Discord is going to be locked very soon. And yeah, we're going to start our course together, and the Discord is going to be locked under a fee. So it's pretty much now or never where you can join the Discord for free. It's up to you guys. Again, we're still trading below true week open, right? This is all price action below true week open. In a bullish bias, we know that this is bullish. So eventually we want to see a breakout here. When is it going to happen? How is it going to happen? We cannot predict that. The only thing we can do is buy from our best zones and sell from our best zones when it's time, right? Okay, so this was one successful short here yesterday, so that's all good. For today, no trades, because I'm not taking longs from the 0.5. I just simply do not do that. It doesn't give me enough risk to reward, and it's not very much attractive, especially on a news day. Not interested at all. So yeah, this is okay. We're looking at the 15-minute time frame, 4-hour time frame. The consolidation is super clear. Rejecting from daily resistance, rejecting from a sell zone, but still the market is looking very bullish. Even if you look within that range, you can even see that you have smaller structures within the range that you can also trade, right? So the range is not particularly the only thing that you're looking for. You want to have a perspective on the higher time frame, and you need to understand, okay, this is my range, this is what I can trade, but what else is also happening within that range, because the market is fractal, remember? So you have obviously mini breakup structures in the lower range that is giving you signals of what you can potentially do, right? For example, you have this break up here, so this is a bullish leg, right? So when you have that on a retrace, you could potentially take a long if that suits you. Of course, that's another way you can view the markets. And quite frankly, it really works, right? There is a lot of things that work in this market. The idea is about execution, right? Do you execute on your ideas, or are you just watching and then seeing them play out over and over again? So this is the thing about new traders, and it's also something that I've been through. It's all about execution. So overall, we're bullish, right? We understand that we're bullish. The market has retraced extremely, a lot, V-shaped recoveries, continuation ups. This is all very bullish. And as you can see, we're looking at a small range within a bigger range, right? Within a bigger range. So this is important to note as well. There is ranges on all kinds of time frames. So you need to have the bigger picture. That's what's really important. Quickly just have a look at NASDAQ. Now, NASDAQ, in my opinion, is still very bullish. right? To me, clearly we're heading for the liquidity on the higher time frame, which is the all-time high. So I'm expecting Nasdaq to give us all-time high, you know, sooner than later. And in fact, if I'm interested in anything today, that would probably be longs. Now we have the sell zone over here, right? We have the sell zone that has been clearly now traded through with this candle over here on Nasdaq, right? We have not this one, but this second candle over here. So, right, we have a clear break of the sell zone up here. So interestingly enough, for me, that now means that, you know, we're going to have a target that's up here. And then if you don't have the indicators, this is probably the first target you're going to look at. And when you have the indicators, you know that also the all-time high is going to be your target as well. So where is a good place to enter here? Well, I think you need to look at it in this way, right? You need to look at the sell zone as now something that's flipped into a breaker block, right? So I think a retrace down here into this zone it's going to be enough for me to find a buy. So that's what I'll be looking out for today, right? Of course, this is the daily time frame, so sometimes this takes quite a few candles on the 4-hour time frame before we get there, but that's absolutely fine. It's a waiting game most of the time in trading, right? Let's see the 1 hourly. You have this liquidity down here, so that's something we need to watch out for. But all in all, this is quite bullish, right? It's quite bullish. Cool. Let's look at gold. Gold for me, I have lots of orders stacked on gold. I'm interested to take longs into my areas of interest for gold, which are of course down here. So all start around the 0.236. But of course, you know, having that triangular formation here, I do understand that price could retrace all the way back in that zone, and that's when I want to be involved in buys. I even have one order down here just in case we come to fill some of the imbalances down here. So that's how I do it most of the times. I have a lot of stacked orders, and then I get rid of the ones that don't work for me and wait to get in the ones that are more, you know, favorable for me, really. All right, cool. Let's have a look quickly on Ethereum. We're doing this overview together because I haven't really been looking at the charts that much today. So Ethereum, really, like we said yesterday, it is supposed to break the 2,800 level with strength for more confirmation for us. And so far, it's not doing that. For me personally, even on a 4-hour time frame, I don't want to be involved in Ethereum until at least price drops to somewhere around 2,686. That would be the bare minimum. But ideally, you want to be looking at the imbalance down here on the 4-hour time frame. This is probably a more likely area for me to look to get involved into in longs, right? So far right now, within positioning myself down here, I could do it, right? I could do it down at the bottom of the range, you know, but it really depends. We have to see how the market, that was the initial plan, right? My initial plan was to position myself at the low of the range, but also consider you have almost 2 equal lows down here on Ethereum. So that's very important also for me to watch out for. And I want to see if price is going to wick that area or not. And then I'll make a decision whether I want to be involved down here or whether I want to wait for a proper pullback from this recent breakdown here into an area of support or into an area of imbalance, which is here. So all these things make sense to me for an entry. But, you know, entering right now at resistance, it's not a good idea, right? There needs to be some sort of pullback and price needs to reject from it. The orange man posted. What did he say? Okay, would pay much less interest. Yeah, the orange man. No, that's fine, Sugar Cookie. You're always welcome. You're always on time. Don't stress out at all. We were just reviewing ETH and everything. So yeah, basically that's the plan for ETH, you guys. You want to see either, you know, a proper break from this area and then a retest of that area for continuation, or you want to wait for price to drop down to a more substantial level for you to get involved in longs, or for me in that case. But yeah, let's have a look at Solana. Solana's been interesting as well today. Well, see, essentially Solana is in an area of rejection, right? So 0.786, we know what that is. We haven't had a proper tap into the daily support as well. And overall here, we had a small range from which we broke out to. So the question is, are we going to come back and hold that area for continuation longer? But all in all, I'm only looking for buys. Hello, Anas. I'm only looking for buys from here. There is no reason for me to be looking for shorts at the moment whatsoever. We don't have anything of that sort coming in. But again, we of course have the double bias for everything. So in case price starts losing levels, in case we start losing the 0.5, right? We're gonna wait to see if price rejects the 0.5. Then we know we're heading lower for where we have another setup waiting on the way, because obviously we didn't clear that liquidity here to the downside on Sol. And also don't forget that even when we get into that out season period, you guys, right, it's going to be super amazing. It's going to be great. Like everything's going to, like the retail is going to come back in. But now think about that retail, right? They're definitely going to be trapped at some point, and we just need to kind of find out when that point of pain for the retail, so we can get back into the market. So there's going to be tons of opportunities, and I'm not in a hurry for anything. But all in all, you know, Sol $300 liquidity, so we know that it's going to happen, but it's not going to be, in my opinion, a straight road to there. There's going to be pullbacks. You know, ideally, if you want to be like super safe, for example, on Solana or other altcoins, whatever, you want to see, you know, a clear break of a level, right? So for example, you want to see a clear break of like 107 or whatever. Is it 107? Yeah, 187. You want to see $187 on Solana broken, and then you have all this space to come back and retrace to get a perfect entry. So all in all, it's not a moment for us to be feeling FOMO whatsoever. BTC breaks 110. Yeah, 110. Good. That's a good number. Angel numbers. Let's come here in our mini range right now and see what's happening. Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good so far. So yeah, definitely you want to be on the lookout to see what happens up here, whether it's going to be another rejection, because, you know, we saw it here, and now we're back at that area. So are we going to break that area with strength? If that happens, happy days again, right? Even the area of the true week open becomes a pretty good area for a retest of price, where you will be waiting for price to retest and then re-enter if that happens, right? So if now, let's say, for example, we close that 30-minute or 1-hour candle above, like with strength, now you're waiting for a retest at around 110.136. And that's where I'll be looking to re-enter. Hello, Chris. Happy Wednesday. Yes, I've been to the gym today, and gym for me is really crazy right now because it really makes me tired, but we're gonna get over it. So yeah, higher time frame, there is absolutely, you know, it's very bullish. Like, you have a bearish leg, and then the bearish leg turns into a bullish leg. So essentially, you have this mini V-shaped recovery down here, but then on a higher time frame, this whole thing is like it's like a massive V as well for Bitcoin. Let's have a look at what's happening to ETH BTC right now. I'm curious to see as well. Yeah, very strong, extremely strong, cleared the liquidity and just headed up. It's still in kind of like this is a sort of a range, right? Even though it's very bullish, it's still in a way a range. So you do want to see a break of this level up here. So you want to see a break of 0.02581 on ETH BTC. I think that would be very telling. Yeah. Hello, real therapy sessions. That's cool. What do you do? Real therapy sessions? Let's have a look at the dollar index. Yes, this is perfect actually. This is what we want to see, right? Even though it's still a range, right? It's still a range over here in our area of interest that I have marked probably from the beginning of this year, 99.014 down here. We really want to see price lose that, right? Once we lose that, we're good. I think it's gonna be perfect if we lose that level down here as well, that low, 98.354 on a dollar index, right? And then potentially wait for a little bit of pullback and then continuation lower. I think that'll be greatness. We fish for whales. Okay. I like whales. Please don't fish for whales. That's very sad. So yes, in our current range situation, right, if we're exiting from the 0.5, we know that we're gonna come above 110.617. So that's good. Should we be ready for a short in BTC? To be honest with you, I'm not planning to short BTC at the moment with the current strength that is showing. It doesn't make sense at all to do that. We just need to exit that range at the moment. That's what we need to do. We need to exit that range with strength, and we need to close above 110,411. That's what needs to happen. And today is going to be very important for that, right? Because if we reject again from that level, it's not going to be good, right? That would potentially mean that we could drop substantially, right? And then we have areas to look out for. So if we still keep that current range, the big range, right, the high time frame range over here, so that would pretty much mean that, we're looking for support at around 106,128 or 103,052. And if we start losing these levels, then it's gonna get scary. Right? What you don't want to see is, you don't want to see like price come back to 106 and then attempt to move away from it, but then it loses the level. You definitely don't want to see that. Right? You don't want to see that stuff. Yeah, so there isn't much to do here because price is coming from the 0.5. So essentially coming from the 0.5, you're not going to take a short at the 0.786 because you're expecting for it to break the range, right? And once it breaks the range, that's when you start looking for for the higher time frame, right? Did we close above? Did we make a body close above the sell zone? Because if we did, now that means that price is supposed to hold in that area. So yeah, exciting times, you guys. Very exciting times. But keep your head, you know, just aligned. Don't get too excited because things can shift very, very fast, and you do need that double confirmation, in my opinion, before you make you know, before you make any crazy decisions. ETH is getting some strength coming from support. That's good. That's good to see. It seems like we did break the 2,800 with some strength. I guess we can confirm it right now because we're trading at 2,835. So hopefully this candle is not going to wick. It's just going to continue its momentum, right? Which is very, very important. So I wouldn't FOMO in right now on this. You just wait for a pullback, and then I'll get involved, because a pullback is just absolutely necessary. You can't just buy with a blind eye like this, right? Nasdaq absolutely ripping. Lower time frame. That's the 10-minute, 15-minute. So essentially on Nasdaq, what did happen indeed is that you swept the data lows, so now you're heading for the data highs, right? So this is probably a lot of people are long down here from this sweep, aiming for this high, and that makes total sense to me. Which is good, because that means that gold is going to drop a little bit more, which means that we're gonna get the targets that we want for gold. And that's when pretty much you want to be watching out, right? You want to find if gold is going to reverse, because gold has this liquidity up here, and we all know what happens, right? If gold starts going up, that's not going to be you know, that great for, let's say, equities, for example. So, and if it's not great for the equities, then potentially it's going to be the same for Bitcoin. Yes, you guys, like the video. Come on, we have 32 people in here. We're in danger zone. Yeah, we are indeed in a danger zone, but we have good news. In my opinion, there is no reason until for at least for today. And don't forget, we have PPI tomorrow, even though it's not usually like an independent report. Like, yes, it is, but like most of the times what happens is that PPI follows the CPI report, right? So you're expecting to get similar numbers. But what you also need to remember about the CPI reports, and I don't know if you guys read the reports at all, but I do. So there's this section in the CPI report that shows, and it's very clear that the report is could have errors, right? They have a big statement over there that the report is prone to a lot of errors, so it could be just a wrong reading as well. So this is how they play us in general, you know, but it is what it is. Gold is bullish in my opinion. So it is due a pullback big time, but I'm not expecting the pullback to happen right now. So I think what's going to happen is gold is going to come into my zones down here, and then there is going to be probably some news or something, and I'm going to be tagged in my long positions for gold. I'm pretty excited about that. And if they fail, to be honest, they can fail because I've calculated my risk, and yeah, I think it's going to be pretty I think it's going to be a pretty good try, in my opinion. There was a message that got deleted. I don't know if the bot deleted it. I'm really sorry, you guys, but we have so many bots here that are just trying to keep the chat in order. But yeah, that's my plan. I think this is what I'm interested in the most right now, to catch the long gold. And in the meantime, like I said, there is not much I want to do on Bitcoin because I'm expecting higher prices, and with these higher prices I want to see a clear break of the range, clear levels break, and then I'll probably be looking to you know, re-enter or participate somewhere around the 110,136 mark if we see that. And if we start selling from the 0.786, which is not a zone that at the moment coming from the 0.5 is not somewhere I'm going to short from. But if that happens, I wouldn't like that at all because it's going to be massive manipulation. Oh, Sure Cookie deleted it. Why though? Why? I think it was just he was like saying stuff in Bulgarian about the market actually, so it was not that bad. H bar, see, for example, like look at H bar, right? I mean, it's just right. Okay, yes, you did have the 15-minute liquidity sweep here that you could have potentially entered, but it's just it's very hard to find a direction right now because it's absolutely ranging, and you know, this range is going to eventually exit at one point, and then we need to use other no, he was not a scammer. Then we need to understand once that range is exited if the exit is true or is just a manipulation for us to go lower, right? We need to assess all these things. But yeah, this is the potential range we're trading right now for H bar. I think I marked it today. But you know, the idea is that it's not really a confirmed range yet unless price breaks a structure. So this is just hypothetical. It's not even a range yet to be confirmed. But again, it's very clear to me, right? If price starts dropping here, I know where I want to enter, right? And that's going to be probably around this imbalance somewhere. It will make the most sense. And in the worst case scenario, 0.5, again, I can stack orders, right? So that's what I'll potentially do. I'll have an order around the 50% of the fair value gap. So that would probably be around, we can even mark it, right? This is the fair value gap, so approximately 50% of that, right? To fill the imbalance, so then I can say, okay, this is really a true trend, and I want to be involved either here or either here for H bar. But right now on a lower time frame, there is literally a chop going on. 40 handles is plenty on a day like today. Oh, what's up, Doom Lord? I don't know if you noticed, but you've been kicked from Discord, bro. I'm sorry. So yeah. What else should we look at? You know, the interesting thing is that he's been banned from Discord, but he doesn't mind, you know. Honestly, I'm actually pretty sure Doomlord he entered Discord way some time ago, like a month ago or something, and he was kicked, so now he's back probably. I don't know. Solana is very strong though. I like to see that. This is perfect, right? Solana is giving more right now. It's giving more than anything else. The breaks are pretty clear. So essentially, you know that you want for price to exhaust and just come back within that range, and then you're long from here. Simple stuff. So excited. There's going to be lots of opportunities to come. And also don't forget Friday, we have the prelim news. I said to you guys on Discord that these sort of news come usually in a trending day. So that would be interesting to see whether we're going to be going up or down for Friday, because it's going to be a full day, I think, of the same price action pretty much for us. So yeah, you guys, that's pretty much it. We'll be watching closely here what's happening. See, the break is not even substantial yet, right? Like we don't even have like a body close yet of here. So, and I'm pretty sure that's Asia high as well over here. So, but today was pretty much textbook, right? You run the Asia lows, CPI, you run the Asia highs. The only thing you haven't ran yet is pretty much the low of the data candle on CPI. So, so yeah, you guys, that's it. Just reminding you again, make sure you get your entry to Discord while it's still free. I know this way we do attract a lot of scammers on Discord, but don't worry. I have my own system of spotting them out and everything, so I'll make sure that they're all gone. You mean there is a possibility to get okay, yeah. So yeah, of course you are not Doomlord. So yeah, there is a possibility, definitely. Yeah, we haven't ran the low here, so there is a possibility still for that. Although it was ran on Nasdaq, and mostly that's what's most important, right? You want to see what happens within the futures, you know, the traditional markets. So in that case, you ran the low, so now you want to run the high. So yeah, it might not get run, to be fair, because it's mostly you need to watch the traditional markets. Gabby's the scammer. Yeah, dude, like, oh my god, I'm so done with these guys, honestly. And he has, like, you know, I shared my buddy's crypto project. No clue what was that about. Legit, I'm an equity trader. Yeah, okay. No, that's all great. I'm happy for you. So yeah, we need to see what happens here, and of course it's very important to note that we're in a daily resistance right now and price is rejecting from it. So this is not ideal news, right? Like, yes, you had a candle up, but that candle is within the range. So it doesn't mean anything until it proves itself, right? In fact, you can consider that as a lick sweep at that point, and you're creating a double top here, so it could be a short setup as well. So you know, but like I said, the only reason I'm not shorting is because we're coming from the 0.5. So okay, so Doomlord is he wants us to catch him somewhere. Thanks, bro. Thanks for the invite. Really appreciate it. Sol ETF is expected to receive approval by next month. Yeah, Sol is looking good overall. Like we said, there's tons of liquidity. There is tons of liquidity. We just need to see a pullback. So this might be a perfect opportunity right now, if price is rejecting from the 0.786, for us to get an entry, right? You need to be looking at, of course, our levels, which is the daily support 162, and then you have 158. This is pretty much what I'm looking at the moment. Yeah. In regards to the alts, they're just like crazy. And I know that a lot of memes are running right now as well. XRP as well, pretty much clean break, to be honest. Pretty much clean break for XRP. There was a very shallow retrace for this long here, but not enough in my opinion. So not enough. But also XRP has really big liquidity on a 12-hour time frame, so I'm looking out for that as well, which is why I haven't touched it, to be honest. I am bullish on it overall, of course, but like I said, I think there is going to be some manipulations happening. This liquidity might as well just be left alone, to be fair. Although it's very, very high time frame liquidity, and I honestly, I don't like seeing it at all. Sui, I think, did we look at Sui recently? Where is Sui? Oh my god, I'm so tired today. Where the hell is Sui? What happened to my Sui? Yeah, very good. It's overall good. Like on a higher time frame, it's doing what it's supposed to do. Right? It's keeping the 0.5. This is what we were basically waiting to see. And then on a lower time frame, you have this whole area here that you want for price to retrace to. And also all these supports down here. So again, for Sui, same thing. Like my first try, I think, is going to be on a shallow retrace to about 3.36 or all the way down to 3.27. I think that'll be good. And it's rejecting right now quite a few times, so let's have a look. I think it has a little bit more space to run, to be honest, but it definitely needs to reject at some point. There is some points for potential rejection up here at around 3.6. So where is my brush? Here. 3.6 potentially, retrace, and then continuation would be nice on that. It's because you woke up before 9. No, I didn't actually. That's a lie. I did not. I wish I could wake up before 9. I cannot. For the life of me, I cannot. Cyber. What is that? A meme coin? No? Because I'm pretty sure there was some sort of cyber thing. Not bad what I'm seeing already on the 4-hour. Yeah, you have liquidity on the 4-hour at 1.6, so that's good. You're definitely forming some sort of mini reversal structure. Higher time frame, unfortunately, I do not see anything. Weekly, nothing. Daily, all the liquidity has been cleared, so I wouldn't hold big hopes for this. Nothing on the 12-hour. Yeah, 4-hour, you have some liquidity at around 1.6. So let's say if I was in a position, I'll probably be cutting some at around 1.6. Then you have another one, 1.89. So I think that's something that you could be looking for. But yeah, just be fully aware that price, eventually needs to retrace. If this is truly bullish, like price would need to retrace, right? We have one zone over here at 1.266. It's rejecting from a zone right now of resistance, so you have support at 1.267, and then it could even go a bit further to fill some of the imbalances. Let's have a look. What do we have here in terms of imbalances? Yeah, around the zone of support, you also have a 4-hour bullish fair value gap. This is all with my indicators that I can see it. And then you have a zone of interest, so it's over here as well. So it kind of aligns together pretty nicely, right? Everything aligns pretty nicely for a nice pullback to here. So then you can chase that liquidity. I think that's something I'll do, like up here, like that. That'll be good. Yes. So let me just quickly tell you about the course, because I think it's going to be really really good for everyone. So right now, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to organize like a wait list for you guys, so everyone can sign up for the upcoming course. It's going to be limited spaces. We're not going to have a huge group of people, and we're going to run the whole thing for like 8 weeks. Where I'm not just going to flood you with like all the material and be like, okay, there you go, guys, study. I'm going to give you on a weekly basis modules that you can test for the entire week. So then we can have a call, and then you can go ahead and continue with the rest of the modules each week, right? Each week you're going to get new modules coming in. So then you can take the knowledge and implement it immediately. This is my goal, right? I don't want to teach you like a really complicated system that is going to take you like a lot of time to learn. I think I want to teach you the concepts slowly, one by one, so then you can guys actually make use of it. Yes, Crypto Love is very excited about it. I'm excited about it too. I think it's going to be really cool because you guys can just like, because you hear me talking all day, right? And a lot of the people tell me, Gabby, I have no idea what you're talking about. And for me, it's very simple, but it might not be for you. So we're going to make sure that you understand every single concept that I talk about in detail, right? And not just overwhelmed with information. I'm going to give it in pieces, right? In small bites, so you guys can, digest the information and go and do your homework, right? Because it's very important that you go ahead and do your homework and test everything. Right? Sugar cookie. Yes, you guys. And yeah, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that waiting list and everything. So I see who's interested. And what is Philip saying? I bought more of the coins with the lowest circulation supply, such as Tau, QNT, and Aave. Yeah, I mean, I like all those three, to be honest. So probably not a bad idea, considering that we're coming into the period of, some might call out season or whatever. But yeah, we're getting into that summer period, so we need to be prepared. And don't FOMO, honestly, there's going to be tons of opportunities for us to re-enter. And don't forget, this is also going to be the moment where like all the the retail is going to come in, so then they're going to be eventually caught up, and that's when we need to bite. All right, you guys, so I think that's it for today. We're in 50 minutes, and I will see you guys tomorrow for our last stream. And of course, if there's any setups that I find today, I'm gonna post on Discord. So if you haven't joined, you guys, you know what to do. You can find the link in the description box, you can find the link in the chat, whatever. It's available for you guys. So all right, coolio, I shall see you guys in the next one.